Is it just me, or am I the only one who thinks that Bayonetta 1 is actually better than Bayonetta 2? Because a lot of videos I've been watching that have been talking about Bayonetta and Bayonetta 2 on the Switch, and I've been watching them because I hope Bayonetta 2 on the Switch sells well, considering they've now announced Bayonetta 3, which I'm bloody looking forward to, by the way. Hopefully it happens, I'm sure it will. And for the record, I love Bayonetta 1, and I do like Bayonetta 2. I'm really rubbish at the games, but I still love them in terms of the design, the graphics, the story, the characters, Bayonetta herself being amazing. It's a great series. I love it. But what I don't understand is everybody seems to think that Bayonetta 2 is superior to Bayonetta 1. And that is just complete bollocks. I'm sorry, that is absolute bollocks. I get it that the mechanics in Bayonetta 2 when you're playing the game are a little bit more refined, and in some people's views a lot more refined than Bayonetta 1's mechanics, and that's fair enough. I don't think that one's bollocks in any way. I think that's true. But where Bayonetta 2 falls down compared to Bayonetta is the character of Bayonetta and the story. Now, I know you could argue, well, that's not really the main draw of a Bayonetta game. It's about the action and the fast gameplay, the combos, and the sexy perviness. But actually, yeah, the sexy perviness, I agree. And yeah, the fast action combo gameplay that is Bayonetta is important. But I love the first one and think the first one's superior because the story is just so much fucking better. It's also better written. And I know it's a big old bunch of cliche shit. It's not original. That's fine. But you know what? It's damn good cliche shit. And from beginning to end, I had an absolute thrill with it because the game was fun to play. It was difficult and challenging, but it was well worth getting over those challenges to get to the next part. I thought the character of Bayonetta was one of the best in video gaming. Yes, again, she's very sexualized. And yes, again, you could argue she's a bit cliche. But you know what? The reason why she's so good in the first game is because she knows that as a character. And therefore she plays to it. And she plays to it in a way where it doesn't demean her. It doesn't make her out to be someone who's just doing it for the sake of oh, it's the designers making me all revealing and everything. No, she bloody loves it. She bloody loves being who she is. She bloody loves revealing a bit here and there and being a bit pervy, but at the same time she's in complete control of it. It's part of her character and she enjoys it, and she's more believable and relatable as a character. And as a result, you care more and you want her to do well throughout the game, and therefore when you're playing the game you get that little extra more experience playing the game than you do with the second one, because the second one, fuck me, the story was crap. I mean, I know it's a sequel, it's an iterative. It started off alright, but the ending, what the fuck was that? It was really bad. It wasn't over the top, it wasn't epic or anything. It was just literally somebody playing a children's card game, play this, and done. It was boring. Like, compared to the original game's ending, it was really toned down. And I thought it was really badly written. Like, Bayonetta was so much more conserved and so much more, you know, just basically always saying little one all the time. Like, she really lost her sort of sexual bravado. And I know you could argue, oh, she's evolved as a character, but really, what more is there to evolve from what she had before? She could still be her usual self from the first game. It doesn't have to be sexualized. I mean, I can understand the costume was sexy in the second game, but I understand the conservatives of it because Nintendo was the one who kind of funded the game, and I think, no, that's fair enough. I'm not complaining about that. But they toned down her character, and I thought that was really bad. And as a result, I honestly think Bayonetta 2 is an inferior game to the first one. I know this sounds like real silly shit to talk about, but I just want to throw that alternative opinion out there because I believe it, and I really don't see why people think the second game is so much better. It plays better, yes, I concede. But in terms of the story and the character, I thought it was a real big disappointment. Although I will admit, I did like the ending, sort of doing like a spaghetti western thing where they kind of tie it into the first game. I quite liked that. That was cool. But overall, apart from a few fantastic set pieces in the game, like some of the boss battles you have to do in the second game, some of the set pieces like the graphics and the action and what's going on in the background was fucking brilliant. Like, again, the game has some amazing set pieces, and I call them that because when you're fighting, it is brilliant, and you think, that's great. It just didn't really keep me as excited and as entertained as the first one, because it just felt like one set piece to another, and the ultimate goal was just looking after a child, and it was really dull. And in the first game, she looked after a child, but the child was her. That was the point. You know, it was relatable, because you're thinking, who is this child? She didn't say much. She didn't say anything. She was young. She was innocent. She was also quite strong, but she never said anything. It was all to do with facial expressions, so she was a bit more relatable, a bit more believable, whereas this kid's just, in the second game, just a fucking cunt, you know? Excuse my language, but still. Ugh, I just thought I'd get this out there. I know this is petty, and I know I'll get a lot of dislikes and what have you, and that's fine. I just needed to say it because it just pissed me off, and I'm a very sad person, okay? I don't have a life, so it's not a defense, it's just the truth. But anyway, I'll stop ranting now, but I thought I'd get it off my chest while I was thinking about it. You may completely disagree, and that's fine. And if you want to leave your angry rant comments at me on that down below, please feel free to do so, and what have you, that's fine. But yeah, I just thought I'd get my 2 cents out there. I'm not saying Bayonetta 2 is a bad game, to close off. It's fine. It's good. It is a good game. I enjoy it. I am glad it is ported to the Switch. I'm hoping it sells well, although I believe it's not selling as well. It's selling copies, but not as it did on the Wii U. But that I could be wrong on that. That could be old news. I hope it does sell well, because I am looking forward to Bayonetta 3. I'm hoping with Bayonetta 3 that they just make it a bit more like the first one. Not like story-wise copy-paste, copy-paste. Just that tiny bit more overzealous, overly pervily, whatever you want to call it, but at the same time just a lot more. Do you know what? Let's just go back to being cliched over the top, because it's fun. That's the big thing about these two games. They're fun. They are not ashamed of what they are. They know what they are. They know how to entertain you, and they're not ashamed of it, and it's great. And in this day and age, that's a fucking rarity, that is. Everybody's so conservative. Oh no, I don't want to cause offence. Oh no, who gives a shit? This is great. So yeah, just thought I'd get it out there. I think the first game is superior, but I will admit the first game's mechanics aren't as ironed out. They're not bad. They work fine. But the second game's mechanics, yeah, it is better. I will concede that. But I just think that isn't enough to make it the superior game. Because for me, a whole game isn't just the mechanics being better, superior, that's it. It's about the story, it's about the characters, it's about the graphics, about everything. It's all one package, and I just think as a package, Bayonetta 2's package is a little lackluster compared to the first one. I will concede, however, I do believe the second game for Bayonetta was cancelled partway through development, and it only saw the light of day because Nintendo wanted the franchise to have an exclusive on the Wii U. If they didn't do that, you wouldn't see Bayonetta 2. Because I know the original game, when it sold on the 360 and PS3, it only sold like just over 1 million copies, and Sega weren't very happy with that, so it was pretty much dead in the water. So if it wasn't for Nintendo, we wouldn't have Bayonetta 2. I know that, and I appreciate that, and I really do. And if that's the case, then I can understand why the game doesn't quite have that same awesome feeling as the first one. If they had to pick up from where they left off and they had to get it out to a deadline, I get that. But that still doesn't change the fact, oh, well, because of that, that's an excuse, it's a better game. No, fuck off. It isn't. It's good, it's great, I'm glad I played it. But I just love the first one better. I just think the first one's more superior. So please, 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 developers of Bayonetta 1 and 2, Platinum Games, whoever you are, please just take some more roots from the first game. You don't have to make it exactly the same as the first game for the third one. Just take a bit more inspiration from the first one and just add that into the mix. So take Bayonetta 2's gameplay mechanics, take the blasé, over-the-top shit from the first game, and just put them together. I don't care what the story is, to be honest with you, as long as it's fun. I don't give a shit. As long as it's good, like, enjoyable, and it isn't got a rush feeling to it. That was the big thing with Bayonetta 2, it felt rushed at the end. That'd be great. Everybody will love it. Okay, anyway, right, rant over, I'm off, I've got to go do some work. Bye!